Good.
How we doing?
Good.
You ready to roll? All right. Okay, go ahead and start off with the injuries. Like every Thursday, and I really like this. Just let it be part of the process, and now Kelly can not ask on Tuesday and just Rod will know why and just be ready for on Thursday. So no, so out this week, Trey Maddox, DJ Moore, Chad Alexander, and Savion Riley still. Those guys are improving. Trey's really improving. Got some practice reps a little bit this week. Got some work with his pads on the field. So, expecting him back sooner than later. Last questionable. Tana left the game last week, so he's questionable for this week. We have nobody probable and available. Ron Triplett, Ben Galloway, and Shamik Jones. So, really going into Game 4 this year, we're in a good position as far as the health of the team. And again, I've said it several times. Just the job that starts really back in January. With the strength and conditioning and all the extra things we do, and that AJ does in the weight room, Brad and his guys do in girls do in the training room. So we're in a good place. Hope to stay that way, and the guys that are out continue to work and be back. So we got a challenging game this week, and I said it after the game last week that these guys have earned the opportunity to play these types of games, and that because of what they did last week, the week before that, this is the biggest game of the year. It's a challenging opponent. Just going through this, guys, and Casey Keeler is a guy that I've admired from a distance for a long time with what he's done in his career. I mean, this is a guy that ESPN named one of the top 150 coaches of all time in college football. I mean, he is 21st all-time career wins, college football history, 273 wins, two-time national champion, head coach, 11 conference championships. I mean, the guy and his staff know how to coach football, and it is very evident when you watch the tape how they play the game, what they're trying to do. They have they've put some good pieces together up there for them, and they play the game that best suits them. Offensively, there's a lot of motions and deception, a lot of eye candy. You have to be really disciplined with your eyes. In our keys, we have to get aligned. They're going to try to establish the run. They take calculated shots in there. They use the tight ends a lot. I think they got 7 guys that on the team. 7 different guys have caught touchdowns. Both tight ends have caught multiple ones. So, it's an experienced quarterback. He's played a lot of football. And really knows how to run their offense already. So from our defensive standpoint, that'll be a big challenge for us. Their defense, they do a lot of things up front, really the front 7. It's led by those guys, defensive end, 25, and then linebackers 33 and 18. There's a lot of production there. There's a lot of things they do that make you have to use your head. And whether it's the ways they set the edge, whether it's the ways they bring pressure, normal downs, third downs, and then the varying fronts and alignments they do it out of. So, and then on the back end coverage wise, there's some guys in different spots that are a unique type of structure that we have to make sure that we're dialed in and we're focused, and our focus and discipline has got to be to premium this week. So it's going to be a good challenge, be a really good challenge, as the coaching staff, knowing you're going against the type of coaching staff that we are. So that excites us. We've had a good week of practice. I thought we've got better every day as the week has gone on. I think we're focused today, communicated very well. I'm excited for an opportunity to come up here on Saturday and play in front of our fans.
Cool.
You guys started a little bit better against Clemson, but you're still probably not getting what you want in early part of the game on drives. How do you guys start faster on offense and kind of put a little pressure on the opponent?
I thought we've started fast every game. We beat ourselves the first 2 games. I mean, there's nothing slow about the way we've started. It's not play calls. It's not mentality. It's not the mindset. It's not the focus the players have. But then a mistake happens. Well, that goes back to the focus and the discipline. All right. So it's not necessarily starting fast. It's not shooting ourselves in the foot the first 2 games. We corrected that this past week. We got to make sure we don't fall back into that again. We corrected it last week. We got down to a 4th and 2 down on the down inside the red zone. Other than that, we'd moved the ball up into that point, and we didn't execute the way we need to execute on it. So I'm pleased with the progression we've made as far as starting first half. My biggest concern is the starting the second half. I mean, that's the concern I have, is how we start the second half. And we got to be able to go out and either carry on what we've done previously, but we've got to have a killer instinct that goes out in the second half no different than we did in the first.
Jeff.
Aiden Burr's been pretty open with us about how he'd sort of let outside voices get in his head a little bit last year. How have you seen him sort of mature and grow this year?
Man, I mean, it's human nature, complacency, and it's not a bad word. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a negative. It's not a negative thing. We don't want it to happen, but it's human nature. I mean, at the law of average, it's average creeps in, and average is a fight every single day. The fight average and great, and these kids have it. There's a lot of distractions around them every day, and that's our job as teachers to teach them what is right, what is garbage, I guess you'd say. But when you walk around campus and everybody's telling you things, it's hard to control that. He's been in a great space, and that's not something that started, this past week or the week before. This is a journey he's been on since January to be there, to be in this spot. And, we saw it through spring practice. They've seen it even more so now. That's why he was able to go out and execute the way he's been able to execute. It was funny. The kicker I played with, Dave Frakes, who I think you guys have heard me talk about Dave before. He's high up at Apple. Opportunity. I mean, very high up, and way up there. like
an Apple Watch or something?
like closer to the top than the bottom. Let me put it that way. Like a couple of people away from being there. So, no, Dave is one of the smartest guys I've ever been around in my life. Just brilliant, and loves the kicking game. Loves the kicking game. And Dave sent me a text reminding me. It was a long, informative text that you'd expect from a guy like that has, 100 patents and built the technology for the camera on the iPhone. So, but it reminded me that the rules of kicking changed in 1989, I believe, with the tee, and then the goalpost changed, and so that really the record, on Saturday that he tied or whatnot, that was Frakes' record. Right, not the previous one before. So based on the new rules of the kicking game and how they've changed. So I'm never going to tell Frakes that he's wrong, but it just shows that people are watching and people care about what our guys do, and even people in those types of places in their life that have done the same thing that Aiden's done. Our guys need to understand that no matter what position you play, no matter what year you are, there's so many people in our Tech family that are out there that are supporting our guys and want the best for them.
Rob.
Evan Simon has been a pretty efficient quarterback for them. No turnovers, a lot of touchdown passes. How would you compare him with some of the guys you faced already this year?
We don't. There's really no comparison week in and week out. We don't compare games to each other. We don't compare players to each other. Every player's got their strong suit. What they do well, and every quarterback has things that, and every player for that matter has things that they've got to improve on. So we don't look at it like that as carrying one week to the other. He's a very efficient quarterback. He's smart with the football. Not knowing somebody, but you can tell on tape if they have leadership or not by the way they get people aligned. Look, you can't play quarterback in that system without being a smart guy and having leadership qualities to you, to be able to get everybody on the same page and the moving parts that go along with it, similar to what we do. And but to have no turnovers, I think it's 10 touchdowns on the year already. And then that's with a team that wants to establish a run the football. So I've been very impressed watching him on tape all week.
Jackson.
I know it's just been 3 games, but how would you evaluate how your defensive line's been playing so far this year?
Yeah, they've done a nice job. I think they've gotten better each week. I thought their last week was the best game they've played. I look at it as far as, are they doing their job? Are they, when we're in stunt or a movement? Are they able to anchor down and not get extended? That's what I thought early on in the season. We were getting washed out when we were moving. I thought those guys have done a really good job of anchoring down and putting their foot down and closing those edges, condensing those gaps, using their hands to redirect and get off blocks. The thing we got to continue to work on is the pressure. We've upped our TFLs, but we still got to be able to affect the quarterback. And I don't look at it as, well, he gets the ball out quick or long, holds it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's our job to be able to affect the quarterback. But as a whole, I think they've improved every week.
Okay.
Another thing is that's a position on the edge where we've got a lot of young guys playing. And it's been good to see those guys out there playing and improving and getting better each week, and then coming and taking that to practice and the improvements in practice. So.
And touching on how the team has practiced and mentioning things like complacency, human nature, I was curious, like, in what you've observed from the team this week in terms of things like attention to detail, energy, effort. What have you noticed from just how this team has responded after such a high point last Saturday?
Yeah, well, I mean, it really started last week, and every week you're working on the message for the next week built into that one. At the conclusion of the game last week, it was on to the next, and that's what the message became. Their success to this point has allowed them to play in games that each week become bigger and bigger. Look, when you work your tail off to build something like this, to build a team, right, that has some success and gets some publicity. It is what it is, right? You're not going to sit there and hide from it. They've earned those things. Right? They have to understand how fragile that is, right? And as coaches, I mean, most everyone on our staff has been there before, right? We've been there and completed the task, but we've also been there and have those games in a season that haunt us, right? Whether it be as a player, whether it be as a coach, whether it be on the last play of the season, right? Those games haunt you. Those are the ones that stick in your head, and you have to learn from those experiences, and that starts with me as the head coach and learning from experiences that we've had the last couple of years, right? How the mindset is. And look, when I told the team after practice today, if you see a heightened sense of urgency out of people, right, that is not out of fear of losing a game, okay? That is because we've been here before. We understand, the complications that can come with this. But I believe in the football team, and I continually tell them I believe in them. And I believe in the 27 seniors we have, right? I believe in the guys that have been here for the last 3 years, right? Working to build this. And every opportunity we get for the next ever how many weeks it is going to be bigger and bigger than the week before. And as long as they continue to understand that, because human nature doesn't want you to understand that. Human nature wants to, pick up the phone and read the good press, right? Trying to offset the bad stuff they've heard in the past. But they have to understand it'll be twice as much bad as it is good, right? If you don't go out and handle business. And as long as we prepare the right way and we play the right way, I can handle what the outcome is, right? But it's when you don't do one of those two that you can't handle it.
I guess through today, their response has been what you would hope for?
Yes, yes. Now, that doesn't mean we're not, hyper active on correcting things and a sense of urgency with it. And that's everyone. That's me to myself. That's me to the coaches, me to the players, coaches to players. Right? And look, we have a player-led team, right? And that's players calling each other out too. That's players calling out everything. And that's what you want. You want a maturity on a football team that gets to that point. Like I said, though, I think today was the best Thursday practice we've had up until this point. And I don't say that lightly.
It seems like you have 7 offensive linemen right now that you're comfortable rolling. Jameson did some nice things in the last game, getting to play some right tackle. Are you getting close to getting that 8th guy? Like, is that where maybe a Ben Galloway or someone can step in? Is there maybe some guys on the cusp, maybe one of the young guys that could maybe give you some burn as the season goes on?
Yeah, could be Saturday. Could be. Those guys are doing a nice job. Very, very talented young guys. Very talented. And you got some guys who've been in the program a couple of years that have really come along. It's good to see Ben be back out there healthy. Those young guys are really progressing the right way and on the course we want them to. And I would imagine it'd be sooner than later you'd see some of those guys.
Wearing some gray uniforms on Saturday. Any insight on why you chose to wear those this Saturday?
I'm a fashion. What's the word? Fashionista.
I know it's high on your priority.
Yeah, exactly right. Look, players love them. Okay, recruits love them, and then that's a huge driving force behind it. When it's everything we do, the experience we do is driven behind our fans, all right, and the players we're recruiting. And when you go in the summer, and I showed the guys in the uniforms, I mean, it's like, whoa, nice, whoa, and then also the new ones, and they love them, man. But I think the cool thing about this is with the gray uniforms, there's a message that I have about Georgia Tech, right? There's a message that I tell recruits. There's a message I tell boosters and fans and people, and this is an opportunity for us to tell everybody that, because my vision of Georgia Tech is, if I could create an analogy here of that old locomotive going down the track, right? The old steam engine, going down the track, and it goes under the mountain, goes through the tunnel in the mountain. On the other side pops out the bullet train, speed of sound. Right, that's the old Georgia Tech. That's the industrial age. That's the grit, the toughness. All right, coming out of the new age on the other side. Right, people need to understand Georgia Tech is not short for technical. It's short for technology. And everyone in this room has the greatest piece of technology in the world in their pocket right now. Right, and as I was just talking about Dave Frakes, to know he had a part in that. Right, with the iPhone even. That's what Georgia Tech is. And when we remodeled this building, we started on a journey of building the new building. You want people to walk in and think they're walking into an Apple store, or Microsoft, or Google, right? Because that's what technology is now, right? Well, that's what the gold and the gray represents. It's the grit, it's the toughness, it's the old meets the new, right? It's the story put onto their pads, right? Of what we tell recruits and what we tell people that Georgia Tech is, and when that thing busts out the other side, and the speed and the precision of the modern day, trains or vehicles that go the speed of sound, right? That's also a combination of what I want this football team to be, with the toughness and the grit and the, being able to establish the line of scrimmage, but also have the precision and the speed and the skill to be able to play sideline to sideline, inline to inline. Ken's smiling on that one.
I like that. You like it. You should be a columnist.
What's that?
You should be a columnist. It's beautiful.
I'll just be an information giver to columnist.
Kelly?
You used the metaphor of the hunting and the targets and all that. Now you guys have been giant slayers. Now you're going to be the one hunted by everyone you play the rest of the season as you have more success. Does that change how you explain that to your team, or how does that kind of work in terms of keeping them focused in that way? I know you talked a little bit about this earlier.
It's pretty easy to tell the team when you look at it like this. Look at our last 2 years. Look at how we've played against certain teams, and then we decided not to play that way versus every team. Maybe it's 80%, maybe it's 100% in some. Right? It's not what we prepare for, it's not what we want. But that's human nature, right? It's human nature kicking in. Well, let's flip the script now. Every team we play is going to be at that 100 when they play us. All right, so we have zero room to go below that. We have to be at 100 every single week. Right, and we have to work every week to be better than the week before. And when you look at it like that, I think it's pretty easy to see what we're going to get, continue moving forward. I'm not saying people hadn't played their best game against us. I mean, I think every time people come out, they've wanted to play their best, but maybe there was something on Tuesday afternoon at a practice that they thought, maybe I don't have to do this as detailed, or not be as focused. Well, that ain't happening anymore, all right? But we embrace that, right? We're not afraid of that challenge. We're not afraid of where we are. We're not afraid of the exposure. There should be no fear in anything, right? We should be confident in our ability to go out and prepare, confident in our ability to play together as a team, and confident in each other that we are playing for each other, right? There's a much bigger thing that you play for when you play for the person next to you than it is if you're playing against or fighting against someone. So it all goes back to the belief I have in this team, the belief I have in this coaching staff, to be able to take the message each week and get it through, but not just say it, not just hear it, but actually the buy-in to it. So.
Anything else? Chad?
I think Pat Boyle is one of your staff members of the week. Is that right? Last week, yeah. He's a Temple guy. What's he meant to this operation these last couple
So
years?
is Sean.
Yeah, no.
The Boyle brothers, what have they meant? They've meant the exact same that they mean every week to us.
Yeah.
When you've been gone from a place, the amount of time they've been gone, there's really no connection there other than it's where they went to school. And it's just like that when you in the professional world. I mean, but Pat's just as big of a help this week as he was last week, and he was the week before, and he will be on Saturday just as big as he's been. He is a valuable member of this entire organization and what he does. And I mean, one of the smartest people I've ever been around in my lifetime. That I'm very fortunate to be able to work with Pat every single day.
Anything else? Guy, if you want to wrap us up.
We're in an age with the portal and all that stuff. Does it change how you approach red shirts, playing guys? I know, obviously, with the goals, you're going to play whoever helps you win games. But has it changed at all your approach to how you view redshirting guys or anything like that?
Not at all. I mean, redshirting is something we sit down at the end of the year and talk about. It's not a player's decision. It's not, something you plan out early. Right? Look, we have 100+ guys on the football team that we're preparing every one of those every day to play. Right? Every one of those we're working to develop to play. Might not be this year. It might be next year. It might be halfway through the season. Right? But I'm not going to tell a kid in recruiting that they can come in and play once they've, earned it, and then say, oh yeah, we've got somebody else there. We're going to redshirt you now. That's not the way it works. So I've only been the head coach since this has been in play. So it's the way I've done it since the first day. Whether it's different than I would have been 10 years ago, I don't know. I can't say. It's hypothetical. But I know how we do it now. And we've got guys that will play this week that have not played to this point, right? Because they've earned that and they've developed and they're at that stage in their career. I mean, I don't think you're doing your team or the individual justice if you just make a decision early on. We're going to not play a kid for an entire year. You can't predict the future. None of us can.
Anything else?
That's it. All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Go Jackets.